Hey everyone, it's Jack the Jobber, babyface robber, back again with another lovely pictures video with my two Bezzy mates, Ross and Andrew. How are you guys?
It's a complete lie, isn't it?
You're my Bezzy mates. Well, I thought you were. But
I'm going to take it. I'll take that.
Oh.
I'll have any best friend, please. Anybody.
It's a great start.
Are you all right?
Lovely.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm not bad, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Andrew, are you excited to go down to Wales?
It's like, it's not registered in my head yet that it's this weekend. So I keep being like, I've got something on this weekend. I'm going to bloody Wales,
So our team, if I can reveal this, I think it would be fine to do. Our team going down is yourself, Owen Mawson,
Indeed.
Sam, and Tom.
Yeah.
And I know that you're both adults and that you've been places before, maybe even abroad. But I'm just imagining you and Owen just stunned by the bright lights of the city, walking around going, and Tom and Sam going, get off the road now. Go and get an ice cream.
I feel like that is going to happen. We will be pointing into the windows of bakeries and going, Welsh cakes there.
The question the internet wants to know, though, is who's sharing rooms with who? Who's topping and tailing with whom?
I think I might be topping and tailing with Owen because we're going down on the same day.
Two kids in one room, there's trouble afoot there, everybody.
The reason, of course, that we're talking about Wales is because it's Clash at the Castle this weekend. WWE have put together, I think, a pretty exciting card, actually. It's all right. Triple H knows what he's doing, but do we know what we're doing better than him? Because we're going to go around in a circle. I thought it was really good.
That was really good.
We've all brought 3 pitches to the table. Ross, then Andrew, then myself, and we'll go around 3 times and we'll end up with 9 lovely pitches. But remember the golden rule. It's not what we think's going to happen.
It's what we want to happen. Make them say, na 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 na.
I wanted to join in, and I wanted to join in with the us, and Ross, can we have your first pitch, please?
Well, I am going straight for my most anticipated match of the Clash at the Castle premium live event, which is Sheamus versus Gunter. They batter each other and draw blood. I don't care who wins the end. I'm only joking.
My word.
I'm only joking. Although the bitter end might come into play here.
Careful saying words like that.
That was a shoot fall.
No.
We get to the end of the match, and thanks to Butch especially, Sheamus completes the set and becomes the Intercontinental Champion. You can give it back to Gunter as soon as they go back to America or whatever. I just don't care. For me, it's a moment I think that will send that arena into the sort of noise not heard since Shola Amiobi scored a consolation meaningless goal in the 2005 FA Cup semi-final. So Sheamus is obviously going radio rental in the ring. He's got the big win. He's completed the set. He doesn't need to win any more new titles in the WWE. He's in unprecedented territory, isn't he? Well, I guess some other people have been there before, but not for a while. He's going over the top with the celebrations. You can see Butch and Botch in the background going, get a load of this wise guy, huh? What's this? Get wise guy. They're getting animated. They're getting frustrated in the background while Sheamus is going cock-a-hoop on the turnbuckles and whatnot. The celebrations are still going on for ages. They've got Guinness cannons flooding the arena with a dark viscous substance or something like that. It's way over the top and it's absolutely brilliant. And then we get to the moment where Butch just snaps. Massive forearm, kick to the shin, bitter end, and he grabs the microphone. And he says the following fire promo. I'm done. Done being your little Butch. I can't do that. I'm finished helping you with things like this. I'm done. And then he goes to drop the microphone, but he goes, whoa, I'm not going to drop the microphone just yet. And he says, also, Sheamus, I'm done. Pete done. You see, I've changed the fire promo. It's got, you know what I mean? All guns are blazing. And as he's saying this fire promo, he's taking his clothes off, so he's his little white vest.
Wait, what?
And his little dungarees and his little trousers and whatnot. And I'm not obviously in a vigorous and like aggressive way, not a slow and tantalising and saucy way that makes you want to smother the guy in custard.
Yeah.
Ooh, and all that sort of stuff. He reveals his old singlet, so he does his old pose, spits on Sheamus and leaves the ring. Sheamus' first feud for the IC title is now it can be against Gunter, have a rematch there. It could be against Pete Dunne. Or, what I would like to see, both of them. Triple threat ting.
Yes.
Why not?
That's the pitch. I'm done.
I love
West Bromwich Building Society.
the detail. Is that where you based the accent from? That's pretty good. It's a yes from me, because anything involving Butch going back to Pete Dunne, who's one of my favourite wrestlers ever, is a big yes. I think, spoilers everybody,
What if people don't know?
SmackDown.
Don't want to know.
Things might already be changing.
Well, you just did anyway.
Which is quite exciting. Well, I didn't say specifically. I'm just saying things might be changing. That's all. It's a big yes from me.
Thank you.
I think I'd love to see as well Sheamus and Pete Dunne wrestle together. I think that would be an amazing matchup.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's a yes from me. At first, I was hesitant because I didn't know how on board I was with the flip-flopping between Gunter, then Sheamus, then back to Gunter potentially.
You don't have to do that, but I can just see the comments going, why would you have Gunter lose now?
Well, no, I'm partly on board with that point of view, but I agree the pop would be big for Sheamus. Even though we're in Wales, not Ireland, I still think he's a beloved wrestler who's made it big in that America. And I like the Pete Dunne element as well, so it's a yes from me too.
Thank you very much.
I'm done.
That's so good.
But also, I'm done. Pete Dunne. It's a hard accent to master.
It is, isn't it? It really. All I can.
Down here, don't we?
Gravy.
That's about it for me.
Gravy. The train was late.
That's pretty good as well.
Thank you.
The bus. I need to get the bus.
The bus.
Right. So
Business time.
business time, everybody. Friday night SmackDown sees the newly crowned women's tag team champions Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah celebrate their victory in an in-ring segment. By way of saying thank you for keeping Bayley's shenanigans at bay, the tag champs bring out Bianca, Asuka, and Bliss, declaring that the latter two have first dibs on a shot at the titles if they do so desire one. Cue the ding-dong as Bayley, Sky, and Kai interrupt the women in the ring and tell the people backstage to run the tape back from Monday night, please. Do our eyes deceive us, dear audience, or was that Aaliyah pinning the very not legal competitor in order to score the championships?
Well?
Yeah.
Dakota Kai shouts down the camera to I wasn't legal.
I wasn't legal.
Legal.
If anything, it should be Sky and Kai who get an opportunity to challenge for the titles first, given that they never actually lost the match in the first place. So step aside, I tell thee, or else. Bianca chimes in to say, well, there's 5 of us in the ring right now and only 3 of you. So either step up or shut up, you dafty. But before Bianca can even finish a sentence, from behind comes Doudrop, who just bulldozes through the tag team champions. I know things have happened on NXT this week, but pretend that hasn't happened. Yes, now without her tag partner and falling short of capturing the tag titles, because it sounded like Nikki ASH was out with an injury and things like that, but forget about it. Doudrop, now wearing an all-tartan singlet, much like Piper Niven would sport, is ready to revert back to her old ways of battering people. Bayley, Sky, and Kai capitalize on the surprise attack and enter the fray to attack Bianca, Bliss, and Asuka, leading to an all-out brawl throughout the arena. You got chairs, tables, kendo sticks. The lot is getting thrown around until Adam Pearce tries to calm the situation. But no. Much like Ronda Rousey, no one here is listening to his authority, and he gets hoyed through a table by Doudrop for good measure. No one can stop this madness until those famous Motorhead power chords hit. Do, it's time to play a game. Is what he says. Triple H is, in the words of Owen Mawson, fuming. He can't believe the disrespect going on here. If there's one thing he learned from overseeing NXT back in the day, there's only one way to settle a score like this. Scrap the 6-woman tag team match at Clash of the Castle. It's going to be War Games 5-on-5.
Whoa.
Bianca, Bliss, Asuka, and the women's tag champions versus Bayley, Sky, Kai, Doudrop, and, well, you best find a 5th member for Saturday, or else you'll be at a disadvantage, won't you? Is what he says, just like that.
I'm just intrigued who this 5th member's going to be.
Pay-per-view night has arrived. Everyone's entering the cages during the entrances, still unsure of who the 5th member is going to be. Dakota Kai's music hits. She doesn't initially enter the arena, though, and we visibly see her teammates' puzzled faces until she smugly struts from the back with her arm round the shoulder of member number 5, her former best friend, now maybe her best friend once again, Tegan Knox.
What?
Re-debuting again
All the people.
in Wales.
What?
She's turned heel. Do you remember when there was talks when her and Shotzi came up to the main roster, right? Came up to SmackDown. They were acting like heels, weren't they?
Who was?
In dark matches. In house shows.
Who's this?
Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart.
I was not aware.
Yeah, they were acting like heels and that. So I was like, why not just bring her back as a heel, even though it's in Wales? That's mental.
A character would be a start for her in the WWE.
Well,
never had one of those. Did
well,
she?
She will get cheered still.
she would. Yeah.
Oh God, she is from Wales as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
Aye.
That was the significance, I guess, there, which might have just gone over your head.
I've just remembered those two trying to kill each other. That's the last thing I remember seeing. Now they're going around.
And now they're like, look who I've got here with me.
My God.
Oh, I'm torn.
Okay.
Was it done?
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah, okay. At first, I thought it's too much adding a whole War Games match on. But then I thought, you only live once. #YOLO.
YOLO.
As the kids say. Well, I don't know if they do anymore. That was our generation more, wasn't it? YOLO.
I guess it was. Yeah.
So I think it's a yes from me. It's a yes. However,
Yeah. It was.
I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared.
What are you scared for?
Overloading the card, but it's the first WWE UK pay-per-view in 30 years.
Let's make it one to talk about forever.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
You've taught me around with reminding me that Tegan Knox is Welsh.
I'm glad that brought you back around. Good.
Apart from that, I was thinking, how could they possibly reconcile their differences? It's not possible, surely.
It's happened before, hasn't it?
It has happened before.
It happened before.
So I'll give you a yes.
Thank you.
It's all the yeses so far. And a theme I've noticed as well, which is singlets. Both of your, you had Dewdrop's tartan
singlet.
You've done stripping off to reveal his old singlet.
Claret one.
So British wrestling's all about singlets. We've learned so far.
You got to get the thighs out.
Yeah, you do.
Can't have like the RVD singlet with the little
shorty
little
bits.
little thighs getting covered.
That's for cowards.
Got to get the fit thinly groin number.
Oh yes.
My first pitch also concerns the women's six-way. The women's six-way match, in my opinion, should have some sort of no DQ stipulation. I can't think off the top of my head of a great big chaotic six-woman tag match in WWE history that's like the Shield versus the Wyatt family, that sort of thing. I can't really think of one off the top of my head. I could be wrong, but even if I am, let's do it anyway, guys. Let's make some memories, I've said. So let's go, let's do it. Everyone in this match gets a chance to shine. Asuka and Io have a big sequence because they're possibly two of the biggest Japanese women's wrestling stars in history at this point. Dakota and Bliss have a creepy off, I've said. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Dakota still creepy? Is that still
I don't think she shouldn't talk to her imaginary friend anymore, does
no,
she?
No, not quite that creepy, but she still dresses a bit gothy.
She dresses like a Neapolitan.
An ice cream.
Yeah, she does a little bit. It does a little bit.
People
scrum.
People are jumping in the traditional sense because ice cream is delicious.
Yeah.
Not in the William Regal sense. People are jumping off stuff. Weapons are being used. It's all kicking off. Bayley is the key thread throughout this match. She's the glue. The match opens with her blindsiding Bianca Belair at the bell and sparking this whole wild brawl that goes on. And throughout the match, she goes relentlessly after the champion whenever she gets a chance. Towards the closing stages, though, she gets hit with the KOD, but Dakota breaks it up at the last second. Then Dakota and Bianca go back and forth. They have a big strike exchange. Maybe kendo sticks are involved. Bang! They both hit each other at the same time and fall down. Off the top comes Io with her big moonsault to Bianca, opportunistic, and it's also like a tornado tag, so there's not really legal or illegal competitors in the match. So Dakota and Bianca have hit each other with sticks. They've both fallen down. Io, bang, moonsault, 1, 2. Bayley pulls Io off the cover. What's going on here? Io looks at Bayley confused and furious, and it dawns on everyone that Bayley doesn't care about her allies at all. She's just using them to get her closer to Bianca Belair and the Raw Women's Championship. But it's all for naught if it's Io who pins Bianca. Bayley wants it to be her. That's why she's been going after her all match. It looks like Io's about to attack Bayley as Bayley tries to reason with her. But here comes Asuka back into the fray with a big roundhouse kick. That takes Io out. They fight on the outside. Bianca's recovered by this point and scoops Bayley up for another KOD, but she slips out the back, rolls her up, handful of tights, 1, 2, 3. The heels win, but are they friends or not? We'll find out. I've lost my paragraph. You can go in multiple directions from here. Bayley gets the next title shot because she pinned the champion, but Bianca has the excuse that she grabbed the tights. Io's inadvertently revealed Bayley's true priorities, and Dakota's going to be torn between the two. Now, I'd have Bayley then get a title shot and win the title from Bianca at the next opportunity, thanks to interference from the still loyal Dakota Kai, while Io spends a little while slightly further down the card having a very competitive singles feud with Asuka, which she eventually wins. This gives Io a claim to be the next title shot against Bayley, who she's fallen out with now, but I think Dakota should ultimately do what she does best, which is betray her allies, turning on Bayley and getting herself into that match as well, which she should win, despite perhaps being the least prominent member of the trio at this moment. Then we've created a fresh heel champion at the top of the women's roster in Dakota Kai, with various challenges to fight off. Her former partner Io, Bayley maybe looking for revenge, Bianca coming back into the title picture, maybe a returning Becky Lynch, and even maybe a certain figure from Dakota's past. Tegan Knox.
Oh, yeah. You got Raquel Rodriguez as well, even though she's a tag champion. But no, we're not having that. Okay.
So basically, Bayley stops Io from winning the match, wins it herself, wins the title, and then Dakota's the one who ends up winning the title from Bayley.
I'm all sorts of shades of Natalie and Bruglia here because I am, as you said earlier, torn. Because on one hand, you created a very compelling singles women's championship scene on Monday Night Raw. On the other hand, we've just brought back the women's tag team titles and you're already splitting up tag teams, Jack.
Oh,
it's a massacre.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I don't know which way to go. I'll give it a yes, though.
I'm going to give it a yes because you basically... I think when I was listening to it, I was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" But then you kind of explained it all. You planned it all out, and I like that a lot. That you've done that.
I'm booking backwards.
You
kid.
are, and I like it. I like it.
We're like NWA
reverse engineering, engineering all this. So I'm going to say yes because you explained it all, and I would like to see that too. I think I'd like to see more fresh faces in the main women's title picture, which would always be really good.
Yeah.
However, yes, breaking up Sky and Kai before they get the women's tag team championships, but still, then you're making compelling top tier women's wrestlers, aren't you? So I'm going to say yes for that.
I didn't think about that you both mentioned there, breaking up tag teams already.
That's my only concern.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just going to turn my attention briefly to Sam Driver.
Take a pause there.
Yeah.
We'll be back after this.
We're back. There was a minor technical difficulty, but it's all fine.
Don't worry about it.
Ross,
Don't worry about it.
I'm a bit worried. Ross, can I have your second pitch, please?
So we get to Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, which of course is going to be the main event of this very illustrious card. The McIntyres, the family of McIntyres, that's their shoot name, everybody. They're going radio rental in the front row. Taps off, they might say, north of the border. Bucky bottles are being thrown everywhere. They're lathering each other, their bare flesh in Iron Brew and Pizza Crunch. They're going all in here because they're all so much fun. This is all happening because it looks like in the early stages of this match, Drew McIntyre is going to use the spirit of his lovely green and navy tartan suitcase that we've seen doing the rounds on Twitter and whatnot and bring home the big one in his home-ish town. Anyway, we're in the midst of this ding-dong battle, and eventually Roman has gotten himself the upper hand like he always does because he's the tribal chief with the most perfect set of teeth in the world. Sami Zayn, who of course is no longer an honorary Uso and now a proper bona fide member of the bloodline, is being really smug at ringside with his best friend, Jimmy Uso, and the man he's clearly shagging but they're not ready to tell the world just yet, Jey Uso.
What?
The sexual tension, Jack. Go back and watch last week's SmackDown. 1 second, Jey Uso's like, can't contain my laughter. The next second, he's like, I want to kill you, Sami Zayn.
I thought that's because Sami was shoot funny.
I know, but I like to look at things in a different way.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they're clearly lovers, and it's great to see. Anyway, back to Sami, though. He's thrusting his hips and gyrating his big old lovely ginger beard in the direction of the McIntyres at ringside. He's making an absolute mug of all of them, so he is. All while his daddy, of course, Roman Reigns, is bitch-slapping a Scottish warrior around that wrestling ring. Sami's getting so caught up in the excitement and the emotion of the piece that he's getting on the apron and prancing around while Drew is down selling. So Roman's knocked Drew down. That gives Sami license to get up on the apron and do some dancing. He's got the old boxer's towel out going, cool down, Roman Reigns, all that. So much so, this happens so many times that Roman Reigns needs to tell Sami to calm down, get back on the floor and activate the plan like they organise backstage, like the Bloodline always seem to do. They're very organised boys, aren't they? Maybe the third or fourth time Roman has to have a word with Sami, Drew actually recovers and mounts a comeback, getting a near fall or two, but not not actual ending the match, just a near fall or two, a scare for Roman Reigns there on a couple of occasions. This would not have happened if Sami was not acting like a child who had consumed 3 litres of cherry-aided Bruce the Bear's restaurant chain. A throwback reference there for people in the UK. This is a UK pay-per-view. Eventually, however, Roman wins, lol. And basically, it's off with his head for Sami because the entire bloodline beat that little bitch down, shave him bald, the beard, everything is gone. They're whipping him with belts, they're scalding him with fire from the dragon that might be on the stage, I don't know. They're maiming this man. It's hard to watch, but crucially, they're not full-on killing him. It's just a really brutal beatdown in this new TV PG-14-ish world of the WWE with F words being bleeped and whatnot. Oh, it's gnarly, isn't it?
Your Riddle still there? Your wife left you.
You little bitch ass. For the next several weeks, Sami, and I've tried to think of how to phrase this, and I've gone for, he's acting like a mistreated dog.
Okay.
He can't talk to people when people get near him. He sort of cowers away and just runs away because the beatdown. I want this beatdown at Clash at the Castle to be so severe it's just knocked him for 6 for several weeks. It's really hard to watch, but that's the point. He was beaten down that severely when, for something that was in the grand scheme of things, while it was a bit of an inconvenience for Roman Reigns, getting the tide of the match turned on him thanks to Sami, it was just a bit inconsequential and didn't really warrant the beating that he got. Yeah. The bloodline chastise and bully Sami during this period. It's relentless. Again, it's hard to watch, but that's the point. Almost, what have I said here? Oh, yes, I've written down here. Sami almost sort of cost Roman the big match at the castle, but they're going on like he threw a human baby member of the bloodline off a bridge with the intention to kill.
Oh.
So, you know what I'm trying to get here. It's
it's an overreaction.
It's an overreaction.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention is that during the beatdown in the castle in Wales, Kevin Owens just tweets something like, effing pricks, I'll smash all your faces in.
What could he mean? So cryptic.
Subtext, isn't it? Yeah. That Morangi fella.
Garth Morangi.
Yeah, that quote.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of Sami being one of those old-time WWE baby faces from the Vince McMahon era that would just go, in the words of Matthew,
Matthew started doing this thing on the podcast where he's always like, a heel says to a face, you're rubbish and I hate you, and the heel goes, which I've never seen.
So tender.
I kind of get what he means, but
just imagine Matthew in a nightclub just like trying to eye someone and just meeting eyes and just go, and that's his way to entice them up. Anyway, eventually, so we get to past the stage where Sami's acting like the mistreated dog, and eventually a former and some might say eternal flame gets him to remember the old Sami Zayn. We get to the point where Sami and Kev relight their fire because their love is their only desire, and they go off on one hell of a babyface tag team run that lasts, I'm thinking, well over a year. During this time, they are the tag team to take the titles, or at least one of them, if we're going to go back down the splitty ways of the brand expansion. My God.
You'll get there.
Brand extension, at least one of the tag team titles off the Usos. Coming out with this tag team run, and I see Sami Zayn as the heart and soul of WWE, like he was for the Black and Gold in 2015. Triple H knows how to make Sami Zayn tick as a good man. Vince McMahon, in the similar role, clearly just didn't give a toss about Sami Zayn, did he? I'm thinking about 2016 times and all that sort of stuff. Eventually, down the line, and this is where the big pitch is going, well, through the beatings and all that, the refining of Sami Zayn, I think Sami Zayn could be a Mick Foley-esque character in being the guy to topple the tribal chief and win the ooh-woo. Sami Zayn, who is slowly and organically built himself to be a proper big baby face, as we know he can do so wonderfully well. And I just remember, this is what I want to happen, not what I think will happen. It's a long and winding road, but we got there eventually.
Yeah. I'm anticipating
because they've sort of been teasing little bits where the bloodline have been a bit harsh to Sami, not replying to his texts and whatnot. Roman's clearly just, humouring Sami when the Usos aren't there to benefit him. They're being quite cruel, aren't they?
They are.
So I want to hammer that home for several weeks. Babyface built off the back of that.
I like I like the overarching thing, but I'm still going to give it a no, I'm afraid.
God.
Because
that's my first no for many months.
Not because of the whole story, but because of what it does for Clash at the Castle. Because I think you're ending it on a big sad note.
Oh, wonderful.
What?
Wonderful.
Well, is that good?
Yeah.
All right.
People paying hundreds of pounds to get leaving sad.
You're ending it with Sami getting burned by a dragon on the set.
Oh, yeah.
It's not really
That's
about
pretty
Drew
cool.
anymore.
That'll be a wonderful visual.
But Drew has been built up as a big hero, and now he's...
I don't think there's enough. I know the promo packages on Twitter have been wonderful, but I don't think there's enough steam for Drew to win me.
I actually agree with you. I agree with you.
We'll see what happens on Saturday, boys.
Yeah, I'll be there at 10:30 going, look, I proved you right.
You'll be wanting Drew to win.
Bold
You'll be wanting... I'm imagining Andrew there watching Drew. You'll
Cry my eyes out. Yeah, of course you will when you're there, right?
Yeah.
You know, you get in the atmosphere.
Yeah. That was Drew. That was pints.
Oh, okay.
It's pints of Welsh
Right.
beer.
Yeah.
That's not it. No.
You were going there. You were going.
So unfortunately, the long-term story gets a yes, but unfortunately, the pick gets a no. I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
It's hard to take.
I feel quite almost like I don't have a leg in this in terms of giving you a yes or no, because my next one's pretty.
You can want
similar,
things,
you can't. No, I do. I personally do want to see this happen. It's a yes from me. I want to see someone get burnt by a giant dragon.
It doesn't have to be that.
Well, it does.
That bit's really stuck for us. I don't know why.
Potentially
really
the most
does.
severe thing they could do after getting rid of his hair that he loves so much.
Do we think they come out of the mouth of a dragon like on the Titantron? I don't know why.
Fire?
No, like just the wrestlers, but then the fire could.
The entrance is in its
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah.
Remember New Year's Revolution?
Yes.
And they had the dragon there.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's
Something like that?
Just
Okay.
on the stage, just fire.
Yeah, I do want to see something like. I also want to see Sami kind of go back to his old ways in terms of wrestling, because we still know Sami's got it, absolutely, but he's definitely been, I think, repressed in being able to showcase
put the character
himself
over the wrestler, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. But maybe that's not necessarily what he initially wanted to do. Maybe that was something more Vince McMahon wanted from him. So I do want to see that, and I would love to see him become big babyface, huge, just have really good matches again, like 2016 Sami Zayn. So it's a yes from me.
Thank you, Andrew.
I enjoyed it. So this one's quite similar in tone, but much less bald people and dragons, unfortunately, which were the two selling points of that pitch. So on Monday night, obviously, we saw the tiny tricklings of what could transpire into a major babyface turn for Sami Zayn, as we were saying. Obviously, he refused to hit his best friend with a chair to help Jay win the match. Maybe, perhaps, deep down, he knows that Kev is the one to truly have his back, not his surrogate cousins after all. This is more of a character development pitch for our Sam and Kev, meaning Kevin Owens. During the undisputed WWE Universal title match between Roman and Drew, there comes a point where things are looking dire for the tribal chief, which I know is like a tired trait, I think, at this point, both in the matches that he has and also in some of the pitches that I do hear pitch in this series. After Drew has dispatched of the Usos, who have tried to get themselves involved in the match, an Arai spear causes a well-timed ref bump. Drew is gearing up to hit Roman with a Claymore. As the countdown begins, selfless Sami Zayn bounds over to the ring to protect Roman, who is grinning ear to ear in the corner, knowing that Drew still remains outnumbered. But before he gets too cocky, outruns Kevin Owens to both size up Roman, because as we know, he was like, send a message to Roman Reigns. So he comes in, sizes up Roman, and he also comes to talk some sense into his best friend. Roman's expression turns from one of cockiness to one of annoyance, as Kevin is clearly making Sami question the Bloodline's true intentions. As things start to get heated between Roman and Owens, with Sami trapped in the middle, Drew launches with a Claymore targeted for Reigns, but instead the tribal chief pulls Owens in to take the impact. A distraught Sami Zayn goes to the aid of Kevin. The recovered Usos roll into the ring and they hit Drew with a 1D. Jimmy and Jay then each grab Sami by the arms and bring him towards Roman, who starts to chastise Zayn after everything the family has done for him, giving him a seat at the table, making him relevant in the eyes of all these people again, before laying him out with a Superman punch / 1D combo to seal the deal. Mental. Like a Superman punch, and then he can maybe stumble backwards and then straight into a 1D to seal the deal and stack Zayn on top of Owens. As the ref starts to gain consciousness, Roman hits a spear on Drew and retains his championship yet again in dubious fashion to the behest of the UK crowd. And then basically, as Ross was kind of saying, let's have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn take the tag team titles off the Usos. And then we can build up to the crumbling of the bloodline and them losing all their belts, because I was like, well, do I want to have Roman lose the belt now? And I don't think I do. I think it just lends more to his title reign to absolutely upset everybody in the UK. I think it'd be so much better if he just absolutely just wins the match. And then we go on later on down the line and finally we get the big thing. Either it's, I don't know, Cody doing it or whoever doing it. But I don't think you take the WWE championships off Roman first before you take the tag team titles off the Usos to like start. Yeah. Obviously, then things start to crack and you're like, okay, this is where it's going. So that was like my thinking. And I want to see Sami and Kevin back together again. And I think out of all the tag teams in WWE right now, obviously they've had feuds with so many of the people we see on TV quite regularly, like the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. I feel like that has sort of been laid down. So I think maybe Sami and Kevin coming in, being the veterans that they are and the best friends that they are, overcoming the Usos would be nice to see.
Similar to Ross's.
It is very similar to Ross's.
Not too similar. Like, there was certain differences, but I think the point for me is still the same, which is that the end of Clash of the Castle is more about Zayn and Owens, and it's sad.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It does take away from Drew, but we want to make everybody sad.
Drew,
leaving this
we've met Drew. Have you met? No,
I've not met Drew.
Well, he's a lovely man.
I can imagine he is.
This is revenge for not letting us know.
So Drew, when he was our champion, was just in the front row of NXT TakeOver, and we were watching it like.
I had a 10-minute conversation with him about the weather in the locker room and how I was struggling with the heat in Orlando, and he waltzes off to NXT TakeOver.
Oh wow!
And we're in the crowd going, huh?
In fairness, he did then come back to drop the belt.
Oh,
he didn't.
So he didn't just take the belt, with him.
Screw us up.
No,
he didn't go on NXT and drop our belt in the pit. It's not because I don't like the pitch.
No, of course.
I like yours and Ross's, but again, it's got to be a no.
I get it.
I just don't think it's time for Drew. I know it's all set up for him to do it. There's no better time to do it, maybe, but I just don't think he's got the steam. I can't see it.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you big time.
I'm gonna trash this office when he wins. Out of delight, out of joy.
Of course.
Right, my pitch involves the Usos as well.
Yeah.
So I've I wrote this kind of in a split pitch, depending on, because I wrote this before Raw, and I was like, what if a different thing's set up for Raw? But it's all right. I think I can just go with the original plan. So Roman tries to get his backstage, Heyman to use his backstage maneuvering to get the Usos out of a title defense in Wales. Why? Because he wants them at 100% to accompany him at ringside against Drew later on in the night. On SmackDown, Heyman knocks on Adam Pearce's door, but who should answer instead? Triple H. I know. He doesn't take too kindly to Paul trying to weasel his way into the booking of the show. So instead, as punishment, he puts both the Usos belts on the line in a 2 falls match, like that match for the IC and European one at WrestleMania all those years ago. Raw is the first fall, the Raw belt, and SmackDown is the second fall. It's going to be against their old rivals, the Street Profits. But I was like, I kind of split it here because I was worrying in case a different match was set up on Raw this week, but it wasn't. I don't think.
No,
got a tag match.
No.
The Street Profits lose the first fall after Dawkins blind tags in and tries to get too greedy, and he ends up getting pinned. And Montez Ford just loses it. He just loses it, but he doesn't turn on him outright because I don't know if I've said I don't know something, and then it's on the next page.
It's exciting.
Because he doesn't, I don't know if we're quite ready yet for that. Maybe it should have a couple more stages to really build Montez Ford snapping on Dawkins. But let's say he storms off and Dawkins goes after him. Or you could have it be a different tag team and the Usos injure one of them so badly during the first fall that they can't compete in the second one. So they're still the Raw Tag Team Champions. There's nobody left to face. So they're all laughing and they head up the ramp and they go, you're only getting one match. And then, time to play the game. Here comes Triple H again, comes out in Cardiff, and everyone's going mad because Cardiff loves Triple H because I think that's where he came out randomly for ICW that time. And remember when Mark Dallas went, Triple H, get here. And then he came out. And then
that was Triple H, get out here.
I heard my voice doing that. How do Scottish people talk like that all the time? Yeah, Triple H comes out, everyone in Cardiff's going mad. He gets on the mic and tells them, no, you still have to defend your other titles as promised. And I've got just the tag team in mind. Any guesses?
Ooh.
I mean, they've just released Flash Morgan and what's his face?
It's Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. And I don't know if Flash Morgan Webster is actually cleared to wrestle or not.
Yeah.
But I've just, for the purposes
That's
of...
cool.
Andrew ignored what happened on a Raw for one of his pictures.
It's fine. It's what we want to
Legitimately
happen.
didn't think you were going there.
I was.
That's really cool.
It's Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. They take it to the Usos and eventually win, instantly becoming the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
I think this still protects the Usos a bit because it's not like they've just lost to this tag team that are untested on the main roster. They've already been through one match against the Street Profits. They're tired. Also, it puts the Welsh lads straight on SmackDown where they seem to be building up the Viking Raiders, and that could be a great first title feud between the Welsh boys and the Viking Raiders. Also, it ramps up the tension ahead of the main event because now the Usos have lost their titles and the Bloodline's air of invincibility has been slightly cracked. Well, they lost one set of their tag team titles, I should say.
Oh, there's a lot of rapier chops around there, isn't there?
Oh, he's done it again.
I strongly dislike this pitch. First and foremost, I can't see the Street Profits lose again to the Usos. I thought the last time was one too many, so one more on top of that, I can't have it. And second of all, having Jimmy and Jay Uso lose to Flash Morgan and what's his face?
They're tired.
Oh, God, that's too much for me.
Power of pop punk.
I don't have that running through my veins.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm gonna say no for me. It's a no for me.
It's one of those things where you hear it, and initially, for me, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I think in the moment, I thought he was
going to go. I genuinely thought he was going to go. At first, I wasn't sure, but now he's gone. At first, I really loved it.
But now I've thought about it.
But now, exactly, right, that's it.
I'm on the edge of the cliff.
But when you think, I'm stamping on his fingers, get off, Jack. I'm thinking, like, at first, right, the Cardiff
When's
crowd...
the last time I had two no's?
It's going to be... The crowd's going to be absolutely insane if that did happen,
yes.
right? Of course. But then, when you think about it, and you think about, like, the story that's being told, and if it ends in this way, it would feel slightly anticlimactic when you kind of put it into perspective a little bit. Right. I don't want. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm sorry. It's gonna be enough.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I'm proud of you in a way.
Yeah.
I remember when you were scared or hesitant to dish out the nose, and now in what I thought was legitimately probably my best pitch of the three. No, I'm joking.
No,
don't take it back.
I'm not taking it back. I'm just saying, like, in the moment, it would be phenomenal. But then putting things into perspective.
I am doing moments over long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
And I've always been against that. Maybe I've sold out my own beliefs here. So thank you guys for bringing me hurtling back down to reality.
It's okay.
Ross, what's your third and final pitch?
Alexa Bliss recently said in an interview with The Press, because I forgot to write down the source, I'm very sorry to the source, she says the following: like I always say, Lexi is not for TV, I'm born as a person. And having lived through the goddess years, and having lived through what we're seeing now, I agree with her. Just put the doll down, Alexa. Put the doll down. Enough is enough, and it's time for a new Alexa Bliss. So we get to the start of the Clash of the Castle premium live event, and there's a backstage segment with Adam Pearce and the game Triple H, where Pearce is telling the game Triple H that Alexa Bliss has not arrived at the arena. They have been informed that Alexa was given a plane ticket by the company, but upon calling the airline she was flying with, WWE learned that the superstar rebooked their flight and took off elsewhere. A few days after the event, though, we learned that Alexa Bliss does indeed reimburse the company the price of the flight. I mean, it doesn't need to be exactly that, but something happens where, you know, it could be Dexter Loomis involved because he's currently stealing humans and whatnot. It could be a little thing where we do like a worky, shooty work like AEW like to do, where Alexa Bliss has lost her smile and just not got on the plane or something like that. Gone home or something like that. So whatever the weather, Alexa Bliss has not arrived at the event and she's not there to compete in her 6-woman tag team match. Asuka, who has received a text from her partner and knows she's okay, she's alive and well, we know that much. It's not like causing too much worry. She's got a text and she's fine. She's of course still seen as a proper legitimate threat because she's still really, really purely class. She's taken out by Kai and Sky in a move that's something akin to Sami Zayn being strung up by Brock Lesnar all those years ago at Money in the Bank 2019. Remember when he was just found hanging backstage by his ankles? Something like that. So it looks like Belair is going to have to...
so good. It was sad.
So good.
Why did it really tickle you that, Sami Zayn being hung up by his feet?
He was going to win the briefcase that year.
He was.
Maybe. So it looks like Bianca Belair with her two partners wiped out for one reason or another is going to have to take this one on alone. She goes off to Adam Pearce's office and says, "What can I do, man? This isn't fair. As much as I want to get out there and Jason Derulo this one, riding solo.
Oh, yes.
She'll get me. I'll get me teeth smashed in," she says. Something like that. Adam Pearce says something's just happened that you might be interested in, and he's got an idea. The scene fades to black. The entrances are now happening for the match itself, and the heels are in the ring. Bianca is doing her entrance, she's doing the whip and the nay down the ramp, like she does. And her music stops playing when she reaches the bottom of the ramp. She's not in the ring yet. And then we hear Michael Cole utter those famous words, isn't we? "Who is it? Could it be? Is it real? Oh my God, Pat, I can't believe my eyes," etc., etc., etc. It's only bloody Sasha Banks and Naomi.
Oh, wow.
Who coincidentally
Wow.
was shooting some photographs in Paris and hopped on the Eurostar after a desperate plea from the game Triple H following the news about Alexa and Asuka. That's how they were in the area,
Yeah.
Can't have her flying over there in like two Concords, not a thing anymore. They come down the ramp in a Gilburn GT.
What's that?
It's one of the 3 most successful cars ever made in Wales.
One of the 3 most successful cars. Craig Bellamy's driving.
I don't know what you're thinking, Ross. That's crap, man. Sasha Banks and Naomi should return and go straight after the tag team titles that they vacated. It writes itself, does it not? But I'm sat here and I'm thinking, there's got to be a reason they made Raquel and Aaliyah the tag team, the first new women's tag team champions in this new era of women's tag team wrestling. Surely they've got to put the belts on them and then make them an actual thing. The Boss and the Bougie, I think is their name. Bougie? Bougie. Bougie. I'm proper fancy. I'm a fancy girl. They've got to make them a proper tag team and flesh out this tag team division.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they've done that, just to flesh out the ranks and make a good fist of this and all that sort of stuff. So I'm thinking maybe the feud after they've established themselves as the tag team champions, that could be then Sasha Banks and Naomi going, "Hey ho, let's fight for the things we vacated." Because surely Sasha Banks and Naomi's got to win that.
Yeah.
You kind of go away and then come back and then lose.
And I think that, unfortunately, Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez are more likely to be not transitional, but like lose it in a shorter reign than the heels would have been.
Yeah. And then it just leaves us with Alexa Bliss, who's now just written off of TV for a little while, because in the same interview with the press, sorry for not writing the source down, she mentions that she's got this new character that she wants to debut, and that's going to happen whenever it happens, so she can be written off TV for a while and then come back with this new version of herself, which I don't know what it could be, but it's not going to be spooky, it's not going to be sassy, it's going to be something else.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so there we go. That's the really, really desperate pitch.
In all the excitement in the build towards Clash at the Castle, Sasha and Naomi had kind of gone to the back of my mind. So I'm glad you've brought them back here. And I think I agree with everything you've said. So it's a yes from me.
Wonderful. And I was thinking as well, you could have, as you mentioned earlier, Io Sky being the real instigator, the fire starter, and stringing up Asuka by her ankles backstage, so that could set those two off on a feud.
That'd be really cool.
That lasts for the rest of eternity.
Yes.
The rest of eternity.
Yeah. Get Poppy involved.
Ooh.
Poppy.
I'm Poppy. She was at Reading and Leeds.
Was she?
Was she?
Yeah, I watched one of her. By the way, the BBC coverage this year has been woeful.
Has it?
Oh, God. Sorry to complain about that for a second. But yeah, I watched one of Poppy's songs on the iPlayer. Can't remember what it was, but she did a proper scream at one point. And
She does, doesn't she?
I was like, wow.
Proper goes for it.
Scary.
It's a yes from me.
Oh,
I think
you don't sound too sure.
No,
there.
it is a yes from me, because I think you're right. I think Alexa's right at the moment. The character work that she's doing is not really. It's nothing, is it? Really?
It's not there.
So to mix it up a little bit, and I think for such a huge event as this, to have a big surprise like that would be amazing. It sounds like they're trying to. It sounds like.
Do you mean amazing?
Yes.
Because that's her song.
You threw me off there.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a yes from me. I think that it feels like they're building this up to be even bigger than like WrestleMania or whatever at the moment. Like the WrestleMania,
That
which
might
is
just be us.
like crazy.
No, it's almost like Drew should definitely win there.
Well, I mean, let's not
Okay, all right.
go
okay.
too crazy.
Okay.
I think you're right in terms of like having all these big moments happen on this pay-per-view kind of puts, as Jack said, Naomi and Sasha in the back of your mind a little bit to think that won't happen. But if that did happen, that would be phenomenal. And yeah, I like the idea of them not necessarily going for the Women's Tag Team Championship straight away. So then you've got time to build an actual division.
Yes.
Of substance before they finally do challenge.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah. So it's a yes.
Sensible. sensible
Sensibly.
and fun as well.
We love that.
That's
Just like
Cultaholic.
practical.
Just like to say, at this point, I feel it's cheeky being all like, Drew's definitely got to win, because it's only in the past few days that I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
And I was in the Hancock the other day, and there's a lad who works there behind the bar, and he said to me, I think Drew might win, and I was like, I don't know. And now I've totally stolen his point of view.
Yeah.
But it just, I believe it now. I believe.
I guess the promos on SmackDown were really good, and that helps you believe a little bit.
But the
doesn't
suitcase was just a Twitter thing, wasn't it? It wasn't actually on SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's going to be on this week.
Maybe.
The suitcase thing got me. How the spirit of his suitcase is going to inspire him to win.
Well, he's just going to carry the belt back in that suitcase.
It's Tartan suitcase, man. What a lovely suitcase.
Is he going to bring the suitcase to the ring with him?
I hope so.
Get
Me
ready,
too.
just really cocky.
Yeah.
Leave that there.
Just set it all up. Get the blankets out.
His wife gets out the suitcase.
Why?
It's like Mary Poppins' suitcase.
Oh, right.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Thank God. Andrew.
Yeah.
My final one. So we have a match on the card that could either act as a detriment to how audience portray these wrestlers, or could act as a catalyst for something more interesting story/character development wise. And that is the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan. So on one hand, we need Liv to have that definitive win so she can really solidify herself as a champion in the eyes of the fans. Yet, on the other hand, you don't necessarily want to have Shayna lose cleanly to Liv, as that would impact her recent build to returning back to a more vicious demeanor of like her NXT days and everything. So, sort of taking recent storylines and confrontations into account, maybe we see Rousey costing her bestie the title. So Baszler recently told Rousey that she has to play by the rules in order to get what she wants, which resulted in Ronda then waving off that notion and perhaps prompting Shayna to become more aggressive when she mentioned that Baszler used to be a killer. And if Ronda's recent persona is anything to go by, I feel like she'd take umbrage with what Shayna said. So we've also seen Liv training with Riddle recently in order to get to grips with Baszler's MMA technique. So perhaps during the match, we see a surprise appearance from a suspended Rousey. She doesn't initially get involved in the match though, rather she sits at the commentary desk with Pat and Michael, giving some snidey comments about the holds being executed. Yeah, she does.
This match is crap.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rubbish, this.
So as the match further progresses, however, Liv locks Shayna up in a rear naked choke, and Rousey starts seeming distressed. She's like, oh no, this is pretty bad for Shayna. Telling people over commentary that Liv really has that locked in. She needs to check on her best friend. So she gets off commentary and goes up to the ring apron. So Rousey approaches the ring apron, rallying for Shayna to not tap or give up. But little do the fans realise it's all part of a master plan.
Oh.
Ronda reaches for the white towel that Baszler uses as part of a ring entrance and throws it into the ring, calling for the match to end in concern, in quotation marks, in concern for her best mate. So both Liv and Shayna are taken aback by what's transpired. Liv knowingly not getting the redemption she was looking for, and Shayna not picking up the SmackDown Women's Championship, all due to Rousey's resentment for the two. And that's that one right there. And then I guess, because she's not technically being classed as a heel yet, Ronda Rousey, this could solidify her as a heel. Oh no.
It's just... Well, first of all, my first thought was, oh no, this is going to make things even harder for Liv in relation to the fans.
But then that's the thing. That could be like the thing that the catalyst that kind of makes everyone go, well, that wasn't her fault this time. Like Rousey did that. Well, I know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I want
And
it.
then Rousey, because Rousey wants to get the title back off Liv.
Yeah.
So like she deliberately does that. So then Liv still has the
Okay.
women's championship. So then she can go after Liv.
But now Shayna's going to be cross of Ronda.
Yeah, and then we can get, but we don't see them two really interact on TV that much, Ronda and Shayna. So we could get them to invite, you could get Shayna involved in it, have like a triple threat or something. It's a mental time, yeah.
It's unfortunately it's a no from me, Andrew.
That's all right. That's all right.
But I enjoy the interwovenness of the storylines.
After what happened at SummerSlam and the writing that's been given to Liv Morgan, where she's going, I'm the champion, even though she clearly tapped before the 3 count. I just want it straight down the middle. At this event, I think Liv Morgan needs a few matches where it's straight down the middle, no shenanigans, just good wrestling action to get the fans back on side, because I feel the sentiments turned in certain quarters, not in my quarter.
No, I get what you, but I just feel bad for Shayna then, who's like turned back into sort of her old ways, and then for her to lose cleanly I feel bad for Shayna then as well. Like, it's a hard one to sort of figure out. Because, like you said, on one hand, you do want Liv to have, she deserves the championship and you deserve everyone to see her as a proper dominant champion.
I think it's harder to create a baby face as organically baby facey as Liv Morgan is. So I would rather go down there.
Okay.
Shayna can get her heat back later on.
Yeah,
Why
she
not?
can.
They
That's
wrestle
true.
again.
That's
Somehow,
true.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Over the
Oh
rainbow.
my God. It's all right. So is it
What was that there?
The table.
The table wibble wobbled.
It's the spirits. So was that a no as
Is
well?
that a
That
no?
was a no.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll take it.
A thoughtful no,
I'll
no.
let you- that's all
No,
right.
though.
My last pitch is the main event. I know you both already talked about the main event. Mine's the main event as well. Drew is about to win the match. He's been... Because the Usos have lost so they're still in the back recovering, because this exists in the same universe as my previous pitch. Roman's on his own. He's got Heyman with him, but he's on his own without the Usos. Drew's about to win. Big Claymore. 1, 2. Paul Heyman pulls the referee out of the ring. No. Drew takes Heyman out, because I think we saw him get slammed through a table, didn't we? We can now see him take a Claymore kick. He gets back in the ring, waiting for Roman to get up so he can hit another final Claymore. But behind him, Sami Zayn gets into the ring. He's got one of the title belts in his hand. He's going to use it. But just like back in that NXT feud with Neville, I think, he can't bring himself to do the immoral thing and use it. And he hesitates just enough for Roman to get back to his feet and avoid Drew's Claymore. He hits the ropes and goes for a spear, but Drew dives out of the way and Roman spears Sami instead. Roman obviously doesn't care about this. He turns around, inside cradle from Drew. 1, 2, no, it's another kick out. Whoa. At this point, both men grab each other and just start swinging big hands. Neither will go... I've written big right hands, but I realised I used my left there and I didn't want people in the comments to call me silly. Neither will go down, but the ref is caught with a stray elbow during this brawl and is temporarily knocked out. On the Tron, we see the Usos stagger out of the Bloodlines locker room after their loss earlier and head down to the ring. They're armed with chairs and they get in there and they just beat Drew over and over again, with Roman directing traffic as he does. It looks like nobody can save the day until Like a Prayer hits the speakers. Don't laugh, I saw what I wanted straight away. Life is... everyone's like, no, can it be? The saviour of British wrestling? Grado chooses a very convenient time to make his WWE debut, dancing down to the ring, doing the thing that he... that thing that he does, yeah. Roman looks at him like, what the hell is that? He gets in, and it's pure 80s babyface. The Usos charge. It's a double back body drop. Right hand to Roman. Right hand to Roman. It's Grado and Roman. Roman goes for a Superman punch. Grado ducks it and hits the wee boot, as they call it.
Yeah.
He looks at an exhausted Drew and says, on yourself, big man, whatever that means.
Get out of town, large fellow.
I thought on yourself meant it's all you,
It's
mate.
all-
Go
yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah.
do it.
I'm not Scottish.
On yourself, big man, before shaking the ref awake and fleeing the scene. Drew wins and everyone is happy forever. Grado is knighted by the Queen and pips Liz Truss in the next general election.
I'll
as
take
well.
that last bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
God, can't fathom her. Anyway, that's not a political podcast, is it? I'm going to go, it's a half yes.
Yeah, a half yes.
For the last bit.
Oh, right, okay.
Grado coming down. That might be the most far-fetched pitch
I never thought I would hear the words.
in the history of this illustrious series.
I never thought I'd hear the words Grado gives right hands to Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
ever.
yeah. Well, then Roman's like, ducks it. We
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
There's a nice bit of history there, obviously, with Drew and Grado from back
Yeah,
in
That's what I
ICW.
meant.
Yeah.
ICW. But
Yeah.
like, it was Grado being Drew that time. But this time it's him helping. Yeah.
Life
Oh, well, in
life
that
is a
case-
mystery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Everyone must stand together.
behind
I'm
the
gonna. It's the half, yeah.
Okay.
I'll go for the half, yeah.
Can I go for a half yes? What?
It gives me one yes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does actually. So you get a one whole yes. Then,
Thank
yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
It's more than I could have hoped. so
It
thank
was
you very much.
it was not what I was expecting, and that's I think what makes me give you the half yes.
Thank you
I
very
enjoyed the roller coaster you just took us on there.
Yeah, well, I'll take it. I'll take that absolutely. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining me in this Pitches video, Ross
I had
and
no
Andrew.
other choice.
Yeah, me neither, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Thank you for being contractually obliged to join me for this Pitches video. And just a peek behind the curtain, we're doing another one straight after, although it won't be released on the same day. That will, of course, be for All Out. So look out for that.
Coming tomorrow.
It's coming tomorrow.
Thursday.
Look out for that on the channel as well. And look out for all of our coverage of All Out and, of course, Clash at the Castle as well. There's so much stuff.
This might have
So
to be
much
one
stuff.
where a graphic is shown
to know.
of the itinerary. There's lots of stuff coming down.
There's going to be What Happened At. There's going to be WTF Moments next week.
Yeah, next week.
There's going to be... Is there predictions in that going on?
I assume things have
really
changed.
don't know.
Things have gone on this week.
We've got half the team in Wales itself.
Yeah.
So you guys will be bringing out content from there as well.
We got podcasts to film. We got other things to film. I don't know what's going on yet. I'm not too sure.
I can't believe they've done 2 pay-per-views in the same week.
Horrible people.
Wrestler interviews also with some WWE superstars.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are as well. Thank you very much for watching this video. Why don't you leave your thoughts on our pictures and some pictures of your own as well in that comment section down below, and smash that like button and all that sort of stuff. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.